A little cricket bird told me it was your birthday, so let's get making this card.
Hi guys, today we are going to be using my gorgeous Cricut expression, the original Cricut expression. Today we're just going to make a gorgeous card, and we're going to be making our card using, well, I hope it's gorgeous anyway, using Creative Cards cartridge. I really like this look of this. I haven't used it yet, and it is available digitally, so if you want to purchase it and don't want to hunt around in a store, then you can order it online and it will be immediately available in your Cricut craft from my cartridges section. We are going to first of all get our overlay. Now, I was surprised to see that this had a regular overlay since they've now brought out the universal overlay. I thought that this would be new enough to involve having the universal overlay, so we just open that up, but it doesn't, so we're going to pop that on. And now this now I've got my this pink expression back down. I will do a video on the universal overlay and how to use it, so that will be coming in due course. So then you're going to pop this, it doesn't matter which way round, but I would recommend you pop it in when it's not switched on. You just, whoops, try not to drop it. You pop it into the little slot here, and if you have a listen, wait, you can hear it just nice and firm. Okay, and then you've got your little window here which you can pull up as much as you want. Now, I'm not going to have it too far up so that you guys can see it from above, hopefully. So then all we need to do is switch it on by pressing the on-off button there, let it do its thing. And you've got your blade down here, which I've got set at maximum of 6, and I've got my, usually, but I don't know if it will be for the moment, material saver. Yes, my paper saver, as I was going to call it, they're now calling it material saver, and I've got that switched on as well. That just allows you to cut images a little bit closer to each other. It doesn't give such a big gap. It's not something that's terribly important, but it's always, you know, you may as well have it on as not. Okay, so now we're going to get into our little leaflet, and we're going to find the card that we want to cut. So it's one of these square ones. So you've got 3 on this side, and then when we turn over, we've got the last one. And this is the envelope that belongs to those 4 square cards. And if you look here, it says you use this envelope, that one, with the preceding 4 cards, and also cut the card and envelope to the same size. So we're going to be cutting this card across the top here, and then obviously this envelope to match, which I think is really nice because it's a nice shaped envelope. So the first thing I would always recommend is that if you're going to cut something that you're going to involve cutting an envelope, is to cut your envelope first. Now, you don't have to put a whole sheet down at a time, but on this occasion, because I'm doing the envelope and it's going to be pretty big, I am putting a whole 12 by 12 piece of card down, and these are American Crafts cardstock, which I love. So I'm just going to slip that so that it goes against that point there, and then we're going to hit the load mat, which is just here, like so. So actually the first thing I want to do really for my envelope is I want to fit to page. I want the envelope to be as big as it can be. So I want the Cricut to work that out for me. I don't know how big it can fit unless I was to work it out on my Cricut Craft Room or Gypsy, but assuming that we're just going to use it on here, then let's let the Cricut work it out. So we're going to hit my fit to page key, which is just here. So it's now saying my fit to page is on. Okay, so now we're going to find our envelope. So if we look at our little guide sheet here, our envelope is just the single key, and it is just down there. It's telling us it's that one there. So it's the 2nd row across and the 4th one down. And if I just go through quickly, what you've got is you've got your card and envelope on here. Those are paired. So that card goes with that envelope, that card, that envelope, all the way up. And then you've got the pairings of the toppers. So that topper and that topper go together. That one and that one, that one and that one, and that one and that one go together. They make the different cards as an example. So we're going to hit this key here because we know we're doing this card because we're doing this little bird here, and that's his part of him as well. So we're doing this one here. So we know we want that card, so therefore we want that envelope. So we're going to hit that envelope. And it's just thinking about it, and it's bringing the envelope up. We don't need to worry about sizing here because we've hit page
fit to page.
So that's irrelevant. But we next are going to hit cut, and it's going to start cutting it at the maximum size. But just before it does that, it's going to work out what size is it that I need to be fitting to the page. What size is that? Now that size is proportionate, so it's not the actual size that the envelope is going to be cutting at. It might be the envelope will cut at 12 inches, but it's for a 6-inch card, so it will call it a 6-inch cut because it's proportionate. Let's say if you had a teddy bear and you did the teddy bear at 4 inches, and then you did the teddy bear's nose and eyes, and you cut those at 4 inches. They wouldn't literally be a 4-inch eye and a 4-inch nose. They would be an eye and a nose to fit a 4-inch teddy bear. And this is the same thing. So you want to now, as you press cut, watch, because we've got it on fit to page, we haven't set the size. So you just want to watch your screen here, and it will flash up once it's worked out what the size is that it will need, that it will cut at in order to fit on this 12 by 12. You need that information because that's the size that you want to cut your card at. You do not want to cut your card at fit to page because that will then be bigger than the envelope. You want the card to be the size that's proportionate. Okay, so we're going to now go over and hit the cut button here. And as we hit that, we're going to watch, and you can see it calculating, and it says it's 5 inches. So then we will remember 5 inches, and we will set, when we get to the card, we will set our that dial there to 5 inches. So let's now just hit unload mat. See, you can see here that clearly, hopefully you can see the cut line. Let me pull off this bit, there we go. So you can see how beautifully that cut through, but you can see on here that it clearly is not 5 inches or 5 inches even there. It goes across to nearly 7 inches because this piece in here is the 5 inches. This is where the card will sit. But the reason it's bigger is because we've got these flaps that are going to fold in and these bits as well. So here's our gorgeous envelope. So we're going to pop that off. And that's going to give us a really nice, I think that's a really nice effect to have that. So we'll pop that to one side. And then we're going to put some paper down on our mat in order to cut the next elements. So the first thing though I want to do, just to be sure that I don't forget, is I want to change my dial here to 5 inches. So that went up 4 3/4, then 5 inches. So we now know my card base is okay. So I want a white card base, so I'm just going to load my mat. You tend to, unless you move it with your arrow keys, the Cricut will naturally cut from the right hand corner here. So load mat, or if you don't unload your mat, it will cut at the next available cut point. Okay, so now we're going to click on our card, and it's card 4, so we know that's right because we had envelope 4 and card 4. And then we're just going to hit cut. Oh, stop. Now that's where we went wrong. You see, I didn't take off my fit to page. I adjusted my size, but I didn't unclick fit to page. So it's really important to do that. And luckily I just saw it calculating, and that would have been a nightmare. We didn't want it to be huge, so that would have been a waste of paper really. So luckily saw that in time. So now we're going to hit cut again, and this will cut at 5 inches. Oh, hadn't clicked. Then we're going to click our key and then cut again once that comes up, and that will cut that at the 5 inches. Okay, so that's finished cutting, so we hit unload mat and take that out, and then pull off the excess nice and carefully. So that's our lovely card to go with our envelope, and you can see how that is going to fit really nicely just inside that envelope. Perfect fit. And then we're going to put a couple of pieces of different coloured cardstock for our different layers now on our mat. Okay, so now I've loaded up my mat, as you can see, with several different pieces of paper and card. So we've got a patterned piece and some different colours for the various elements, and I will show you what they are as we go along. So I'm just going to load my mat. Now the first piece I've got is actually a piece of paper quite light, so I'm going to take that down to 4 on my blade so that it's not too strong, and I'm going to take the pressure down as well to high, which is 4. Okay, so that first piece isn't cut too deeply and strongly, because otherwise I think it'll rip. So we're going to leave it all at 5 inches because it is all proportionately set. So the first thing that we want is this layer here, which is a function key, which is this one here, which says layer, and then it is the actual card layer, which is that one here, and that should give us the layer here. Yes, it does. Now I want this piece a little bit more. I want to try and get in there a little bit more. So I'm actually going to move my blade, or my mat, whichever way you want to think of it, just a little bit, not quite as far as that, and maybe even over just a little. Actually, we can check that because it should fit roughly. Oh yeah, that's going to be fine, isn't it? It's going to go over that. I think we could even take it over just a little bit more. Okay, let's, fingers crossed, let's press cut and we'll see what happens. Because I really wanted to have that nice flower in the middle there. That looks like that's worked just perfectly. So let's just hope that that has cut through okay as well. So then it finishes there. So that would be the next cut position. However, we want to be up here a little, so we're just going to move it. I think we could probably move it backwards a bit as well. So we're going to move it to the next colour, just using our arrow keys here. And the next colour is for the bird's body. And according to that, it is, so we're going to take the function key off. It is just this piece here. So just the body on its own, and it should come up here, which it does. So then you press cut. But first of all, we need to just adjust, because we're now back on cardstock. We need to adjust our blades and things so that the depth is correct and the pressure is correct. So I've done that to max and max, and then press cut. Okay, so then the next piece I want is actually down the bottom there, so it's the pale blue. So I'm going to hit line return, if I can remember where it is. It's been a while. Here it is, and that will take you back and across to the next cutting position. So if you had a 12 by 12, that takes you, because that finished cutting there, so it would be able to cut from that position. But actually we want to cut over from here, so just over onto the pale blue, and then we want to cut the little wings, and that is the layer one and the little bird, and that will give us the little wings. And that's just following what it tells us on here. So then we press cut. And if you remember, I said to you, you're imagining you're putting this through like so. So we know which direction to have put these longer pieces. we've put them this way rather than across, because it will then cut that's the reason why you need to know which direction you think it's going to cut, because if you put that down but you put your card that way, it would be really annoying because it would be wrong. Okay, so then we're going to go over and do our white piece. So just using your arrow keys, and we're just on the white there now. So we're going to hit that, and that is actually no layer and just that one on its own. And you can see it actually on the keypad, it's very clear what it is. So then we're going to press cut, and it cuts that out nicely. And then we're going to go back to our peach just by using our arrow keys again. And again, same principle. We know, because of the way that this goes in, that the peach piece, which is this long piece here, which just goes onto there, is going to be putting our card down that direction. Okay, so we're going to do layer, and then that second key there, and that gives us our little scalloped piece, and then we're going to press cut. And if it wouldn't fit, then the Cricut would tell you. Okay, so that is now all our elements cut out. So we're going to unload our mat. And then you can see, very gently. Now I put this paper on this corner because we'd already used this a few times with the cards, so it was the least sticky. And that's why it's worked a bit better for us, because of that. And so you can see it's cut out beautifully. So just put our elements over. We're going to pull all our excess paper off and our elements off, and then come back to the table and actually put the card together. Okay, so now we need to put our card together. We've got all our pieces cut out. So the first thing I want to do actually is to put the creases into my envelope here. So I've got my Martha Stewart scoreboard, and we're just going to score along some lines. Now it hasn't given us any score lines, so we're going to have to just kind of work it out for ourselves. But so we'll just pop that against the edge of my scoreboard there, and I think it'll probably be that one there. And then do the same on the other side. And then just double check that's going to fit, which it is. You can see once that's folded that'll be fine. So then the next thing we need to do is get some of our adhesive. Actually pop this out to one side for a minute and get some adhesive and just put it on the edges there. And I'm just going to use a little bit of glue just along this edge here, because if you go on the edges of the side pieces, it doesn't go all the way to the top, if you notice. So it's simpler to put it onto the actual flap rather than the edges. And then for the top piece here, if I was selling this, I would put a piece of double-sided tape on, so that when the person came to seal the envelope, they can easily just pull this one side of the double-sided, the final side of the double-sided tape off and stick it down. The alternative is to give them like a little sticker to go on there, so that will hold it down like a seal, wax seal almost look. But I think because it's for me personally, I can just stick that when I actually get to it, and I should probably just use, as I say, like a little sticker or something. So for this one we need to now score down the centre here, and there is our card front. Okay, so the next thing that I need to do is actually pop this to one side for the minute, but to take my little tag here and stamp on it the sentiment, and it goes that way round, so we need to make sure that we stamp it the correct way round. And I've got a lovely paper tray ink sentiment that says "Hope your day is fabulous," so we're going to pop that down somewhere like that, I think. I've got green ink ink and I got blue ink, and I'm trying to decide which of the two to use, but looking at the image now, it really is coming up a lot more blue. And I've got this Versamagic chalk ink, and this particular one is Night Sky. There we go. And just think that looks really nice. So put that to one side, and then we need to attach, while we've got this little piece, we're going to attach this to the underside of it. So just going to put that on there like so. So all I'm going to do is grab my glue here, just put a small amount of the adhesive along that line there. And then put that on. I want that piece, there we go. I wanted it to kind of continue down on that curve there, so that's why that piece is there. There we go. So that will sit and dry for a minute. And then I'm going to get my actual paper, and I'm going to put my layer down now onto my card. There we go. I think that looks lovely actually, just like that. Love that colour. Okay, and then we need to put our bird together, but before we did that I was just looking at using my scoring tool and just putting a little bit of dimension in the wings. So I'm just popping this to one side, taking my scoreboard and then just getting the wings here and just going down the lines here, just to, if I just put it like that and just kind of moving the bird's wing as I'm working, but just put a couple of little lines in there really, just for kind of embossing, just to give it a little bit of dimension. And it's not going to really show very much because I am going to be putting some glitter on those, but I just thought it'd be worth a little bit of fun with them. Okay, and then we're going to take my bird, and the first wing we're going to put on, and he's kind of going towards the back, and we're just going to attach that flat with some adhesive here. Just taking a little bit of my adhesive on the back of my wing here, just on this piece. Oh, that was quite a lot. Okay, we're just going to pop that down kind of like so. Ooh. And luckily we're going to be putting another one on top because that really did go crazy. So we've got our first wing on. Then I'm going to get the second wing, which I want kind of more upright, following kind of on with what the picture's showing us. But what I want to do is just use a small piece of foam tape, and I'm just going to stick that on the back. And in fact, I only think I need even half of that amount. So we just rip that in half, put a little bobble of that in the end of the wing there, take the edge off, and then just popping that in position like so, and that then just gives us a little bit of dimension on our bird's wing, and I think that looks really nice. And then again, I'm just going to take my score tool and put a few lines in his tail. There we go. And that just gives a little bit of dimension there as well, which is cute. As for the eye, I'm going to put a gem, so we'll come to that in due course. So then we need to get to the actual card base here, and I'm thinking what I want is this kind of on flat, and that'll fit from there, and then 3D my bird up, and you can just put some adhesive on the back there, and then I'm going to match that up with that piece there. So you can see it just matches in there, and so we're just going to pop that in position, and then stick it down. So that's like that. That looks really pretty just as it is, doesn't it, with that pattern paper. And then I'm just going to put my bird on. And I'm going to 3D my bird using some of these little thingy-wotsits. There we go. Like so. Very cute. And then we're going to put our bird down. And I think he's going to go, I was thinking kind of there. There we go. And then, just making sure that's nice and flat, I want to put some gems on for his eye, for one. And I've got a little, some of these gorgeous Paper Mania ones, and there's a really, really tiny one here. Just pop that down. There we go. And then I do want to put some jewels just around the edges here. And I really wanted to put on here. There we go. So we've got our 3 on there, which I think look really nice. And then I don't really want any around the corners because they aren't really corners, so I'm going to leave that. But what I do want to do is just add a little bit of stickles to the actual bird wings. But before I do that, because it will be wet, I want to just put a little piece of the coloured paper on the inside, just to make it look nice on the inside as well. There we go. So that's just on the inside there, just to make it look a little bit less boring. And then that's the outside done, all except I want to put on there my stickles on my actual little birdie wings, just to bling him up a bit. So I'm just going to take these . Like so, and then a little bit on the tail, like that. There we go. And here's the matching envelope. So here is our gorgeous card for today, made, well, I think it's gorgeous anyway, I hope you do too, made using the Creative Cards Cricut cartridge, and pretty much just doing the card as is according to the instructions. And you've got the lovely envelope with the nice matching shaped edges there on the flap, and just try to bring all the colours together. So I hope you like making this with me. I'd love to hear your comments, and I will see you all again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.